Lil Tecca really just came out of nowhere one day with his nerd-ass glasses and said, "I'ma take over the industry for a bit, don't mind me." With his breakout hits Ransom and Out of Luck, he quickly proved everyone wrong and actually made it big. Like, when I say big, I mean big. So I am ranking every single one of his 4 albums. Yes, he only has 4 albums. And I already know I'm going to piss people off with this ranking, so just a reminder, this is just my opinion based on my personal experiences listening to these tracks. Alright, you get all that? Let's get into it. I hate that I have to do this, but Virgo World is last. I tried, man, but I couldn't like it. You're telling me Tekka dropped his best mixtape the year prior, and next year he's like, alright, I'm just gonna drop my worst one. Virgo World is not entirely ass, but there's a lot of stinkers in it. When you listen to the intro track, you're like, yeah, this is gonna be a bop. And that's where the sadness started. This thing makes me mad because it includes Tekka's best and worst tracks at the same time. And don't get me started on Tekka's flows in some of these tracks. Listen, I love Nav, but Tekka be sounding worse on some of these tracks than damn Nav. The biggest problem with Virgo World is its identity, or lack thereof. It pains me to talk trash on Virgo World because Dolly was my most played song in 2020. And that shit came out in like September. Okay, here's my thoughts on some of these tracks. Our Time is a bit too good for this album. I wish it was a bit longer though. Same with Actin' Up, but I don't like these Mexican ass beats Tekka is choosing for these songs. When You Down sounds like a Polo G track. I don't like Polo G. Okay, Back It Up second verse is hard, and it has my favorite line of the album. Chemistry is very boring, argue with the wall. The beat carries on Royal Rumble. Why is Nav better than Tekka on Foreign? Like seriously, he carried. Selection is the funniest shit ever. The beat is the most out-of-pocket thing I was expecting to hear on this album. And Tekka does not even know how to rap on this, it's hilarious. Tech 10 is boring as shit. Like, what do you want me to say? It's ass. Alright, I can't hate on Dolly. If you were a diehard Uzi fan back then, you jumped out of your seat when you first heard this. Because it's Uzi's Dolly. The beat is pretty much the same, but there is no old Uzi verses. The new Uzi verse is fine though, I can't really complain. Miss Me sounds like a 2019 Lil Mosey track. Closest to Heaven is just fine. I actually like Level Up. I don't know why, probably because Tekka is keeping up with the beat. Same story with no answers. Okay, Last Call is top 3 on this album. And Out of Love is a We Love You Tekka track that made it on here, which is pretty good. So, in conclusion, Tekka's Virgo World made me not want to date any Virgos. We Love You Tekka 2 is Tekka's middle ground. It's not ass, it's not great, it just exists. This was probably the only Tekka album I was hyped for before release, because it carried the name of his best project at the time. The problem here is that it does not keep up with the original. And he released this after summer, so what's the point of even calling it We Love You Tekka 2? Tekka said that We Love You Tekka represents a point in his life where he's having fun and he's just free. Okay, now let's talk about the actual music. It's fine. I can appreciate some of Tekka's flows and how much he has improved since the release of Virgo World, but it was still not engaging enough. Money on Me is such a boring intro for this project, especially coming off of Virgo World with his most insane intro. Repeated is fine but very repetitive. Got a clear stack on this, but he kinda just hops on and before you know it, he's gone. Never Left is okay, pretty average. I don't care what anyone says, Caution is ass. This song sounds like it was made in 10 minutes. Tekka is trying to catch up with the beat, and his flow on this track has to be the worst Tekka flow I've heard this far. Ian Dior clears Tekka on Seaside by a landslide. No discussion is Tekka attempting to rap on a hard beat, and he fails miserably. Seriously, what the actual fuck even is this track? Choppa Suit The Loudest is actually pretty great. This is probably the only Tekka track that has a hard beat that Tekka actually keeps up with it. And you can tell that Trippy is putting his heart out on this track. Chief Keef, on the other hand, came and went, and his verse was kinda trash. Did That is fire. About You is top 3 on this album, and I can't believe that I'm saying this, but Nav actually delivered. You Gotta Do Better is so ass, holy shit. This is the definition of Tekka not catching up with the beat. After that point in the album, I literally fell asleep. And I genuinely didn't want to review the songs I didn't like because they all have one similar problem. They are boring, repetitive, and unoriginal. Except My Side, Shooters, Wherever I Go, Trans Symphony, and the best track on the tape, Show Me Up. Show Me Up was the reason I was hyped for this album in the first place. So you might think I was doing Virgo World justice compared to We Love You Tecca 2 in this video, but I think We Love You Tecca 2 has better tracks while having some very average tracks as well. I was a bigger hater on this because it just made me mad. While I was listening, I was like, there's no way Tecca is actually good with releasing some of these tracks. The people he was in the studio while he was recording this tape must have been preying on his downfall or something, because this was not it. We Love You Tecca is not number one. Unlike Virgo World and We Love You Tecca 2, Tecca's debut album is fire. I was there for the release of this album, but I didn't know much about albums at the time and how albums were released, but I love every single track on this. I mean, Ransom, come on. Ransom was probably the first song I was ever obsessed with. Shots is a straight classic. Side Note is top 5 Tecca tracks. Produced by Pierre. Did It Again is a bop. Out of Luck, those are crazy good. Left Right is the only skip. Amigo, like, come on, this track. It's like Tecca is able to catch up with the beat here. DUI is literally summer anthem. And it's top 5 Tecca. Love Me has such a 2019 beat and I love it. Molly Girl, Count Me Out, and Ransom with Juice are all fire. I don't know why, but this thing has so much personality, especially while being Tecca's first project. It almost feels like he gave up trying to change up his music after this project. Well, at least until Tekk came out. Yes, Tekk is his best album. We Love You Tecca is great, but Tekk is just a smidge higher. Everything from the album cover to the production and his improved flows. Oh, and this album has transitions sprinkled throughout. While they're not consistent around the entire album, I still appreciate that extra little touch. And it made it more replayable for me. Now look, there are skips on this album. It wouldn't be a Tecca album if it had no skips. But all around, Tecca delivers some great different flows on this. And the beat selection is top tier. With tracks like Heaven on Earth, 500 Pounds, Salty, Real Discussions, Want It Bad, Either Way, Monday through Sunday, come on. Half of this album is hard Tecca and the other half is like tropical summer Tecca. And man, some of these songs are hella addictive. Heaven on Earth was on repeat for a week. Either Way is summer anthem number 2. Fell in Love with Ken is fire, probably one of the hardest Tecca tracks. Salty is very addicting to listen to, mostly because of that beat. I don't know, that loop is just hella catching. Need Me was on my top 15 my rap this year, mostly because he released it as a single around summertime, and that sample at the start, my god. The transitions on this album are very appreciated, but they are nowhere near as sophisticated as Pierre's transitions. One thing Tecca did here though, that is a very cool idea, is that Monday through Sunday, the last track on the tape, transitions into VS, the first track on the album. That is a very cool touch, and that's why I think this is Tecca's best. He thought of how he was going to make this album feel a bit more special. It's not bloated with tracks. This LP is around 40 minutes, and that's perfect for Tecca's music in my opinion. In conclusion, I am a better reviewer than Fantano because he gave Tecca's best album a not good. There you go, another artist's music rank. If you want me to rank your favorite artist, just make a suggestion in the comments and I might do it. Who knows? Probably not.
How many bottles of water do you drink a day?
How many my body need?
Yeah.